Jack Keane. He's chairman of the Institute for the Study of War and a Fox News military analyst. General, good to see you tonight. I mean, what do you make of the president? Now the White House trying to dial it back through Josh Earnest, but we heard it from the president's own lips. What do you make of the revelation that we have no strategy for dealing with this terror army?
Well, it's an extraordinary and stunning admission coming from a leader of the world's most powerful nation. And you know, as such, Megyn, it's embarrassing also. As you pointed out in the introduction, we know a lot about ISIS. They reemerged in 2009 and 2010 in earnest in Iraq. They moved into Syria in a comprehensive way in 2011. They've been there for 3 years, taking control of territory. They were a growing menace every single month, increasing in territorial control and imposing their harsh governance. Our intel agencies have been watching them all this time. The Institute of the Study of War, we've tracked them on a daily basis. We've shared information with intelligence agencies, with the Department of State, with the Department of Defense. Everybody in our government in the national security business knows this organization and what a significant threat it is to the Middle East, which is attacking our vital interests and also to our country. We need a comprehensive strategy, and I fear that we may not get one.
The president, even though he uttered those words, seemed to then go on to outline what he's thinking right now. He suggested that, yes, we need to have a military presence there, and he's asked for recommendations from Chuck Hagel and General Dempsey on what that should be. He suggested that we needed to get new leadership in place in Iraq, which has now happened, because otherwise, we need the right political leadership in place. And he talked about building a coalition of forces, so it's not just the United States. And by the way, Secretary of State John Kerry is over there right now. Here is how the president outlined what he's thinking so far, and in particular, I'd like to get your thoughts on how he said, look, we can do all the military stuff we want in the world, but it's not going to do anything unless we follow through and get a coalition. Listen to the president.
Our military is the best in the world. We can rout ISIS on the ground and keep a lid on things temporarily, but then as soon as we leave, the same problems come back again. This should be a wake-up call to Sunni, to Shia, to everybody, that a group like ISIS is beyond the pale. We've got to all join together, even if we have differences on a range of political issues, to make sure that they're rooted out.
How's that sound to you, General?
Well, I agree with much of that. The fact of the matter is, we do need to lead a coalition, particularly from the region, but also with other allies. It has to transcend political, diplomatic, economic, and military. But you do have to go out there and attack them. You have to destroy what they have, and you have to wind up killing and capturing a lot of them. We've done this before. But the fact of the matter is, we have to assist our allies there. The fact is, at Free Syrian Army, we should robustly arm them and train them and stop doing half measures, which we're currently doing. The people on the ground in Iraq that are going to lead this, so the Iraqi army will lead it with Peshmerga. Sunni tribal leaders will participate as they are in Anbar province, and also the Shia. Here's what we don't know though, Megyn. We will lead the air strikes. I'm convinced we'll eventually get to do it. We'll have coalition partners doing it, and it will be effective. But we cannot defeat ISIS with those airstrikes alone. The only way you can do that is the combination of a ground force supported by air power. The ground force are going to be others that we are going to support, and we do not know if they're going to be effective. That is the unknown question here, and we're just going to have to see. And we don't know either how long it's going to take.
Why do you think the president said he has no strategy, given that he's clearly being briefed on all of this? There's no way General Dempsey doesn't have an idea of what to go in and do militarily.
I think he made that statement because he hasn't made a decision about what to do. And I think that was an honest reflection of that. I mean, I know for a fact that there's military campaign strategy that the Pentagon has that's been developed by Central Command Headquarters at Tampa, Florida. They have regional responsibility here, and along with that, obviously, they would also have a range of options. So inside the national security apparatus, I'm convinced there's a lot of thinking going on. But I believe he hasn't got it as involved as they are, and number two, he hasn't made any decisions, and I think that was an honest answer. He didn't have a strategy. And that is what is so embarrassing after all this time, that we're not conversant with this to the degree that we could really talk about it in some level of detail, even though he may not have made a final decision.
Sure, he'll be mulling it over at the fundraisers tomorrow. General, thank you.